That's what I call a Grateful Dead Christmas, Jimmy Stewart said to me, and that's why I'm here. The Bruins, do they suck again? This is the Garden Level Pod.
This is hockey right here.
Bruins! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Garden Level Pod, Christmas week. Cam Stewart, Dan Conlon here. We got a special guest coming up on the show as well. You won't want to miss it. But first, how about you do us a favor? Like, subscribe. Helps us keep our jobs. Helps us know that the people are thirsting for Bruins content this holiday season. Dan, 3 losses on the bounce. Just riddle me this. Is that good?
It's not great. It feels like that mammoth win at home when they were playing Feliz Navidad during that brawl when they were winning. That feels like a year ago. That's how bad the last 3 games have been.
The curse of Jose Feliciano
But
rains down upon us.
The week could have been better. Actually, today, I saw Ty Anderson tweet last night that the Bruins had practice at Warrior at 11 today. So I wanted to go to that one just to see how Sturm handled that practice, if he sent any messages or see how the guys responded. So I went over to Warrior at 10:30 today just to, check in on the guys. Haven't been there in a while. And I checked the Warrior Ice website before I left the house just to make sure it was confirmed. It said confirmed. So was there waiting. It was packed, school break, dozens of kids there. I'd say like 50 kids there, great time to go with your family and watch some Bruins practice, see the guys up close. And at 10:55, the Zamboni driver comes and goes, practice is canceled. They're not coming on. So
5 minutes before?
5 minutes before, there was literally like probably 70 people in the Warrior Ice just not knowing what was going on. But yeah, that was my morning. How about you? Looks like you are somewhere not where you usually are.
Yep. No Bobby Orr behind me anymore. No 1972 Avengers Bruins record. No, I am in a lovely Airbnb because that's Christmas to me. I am calling it the Deadhead Spare Bed. It is an Airbnb in coastal North Carolina. Here for the future in-laws. Their family lives right down the street for now, and this is where we had to be because the place that they're renting doesn't allow dogs. So that's where we're at, man. It's a nice, neat little spot. Although, as you could probably tell, a lot of Grateful Dead stuff. There's one break in the Grateful Dead. You're gonna love this, dude. Everything is Grateful Dead decor except for this one thing in our bedroom. I should have taken it off the wall, brought it here. You wouldn't be able to read it. But it is a framed invitation to, of all things, the presidential inauguration of Richard Milhouse Nixon.
That just brings the house all
the
together.
vice presidential inauguration of Spiro Agnew in 1973. Wow. It feels like home when I walk in here. I decided to go with Jimmy Stewart impression. I should have maybe flapped a little bit. I am not a crook. That's I couldn't believe it. And I didn't notice it. We got in last night. I didn't even notice it till this morning because everything else is like tie-dye. It's all like, it's not even all Grateful Dead. There's like Grateful Dead tribute bands and stuff too that they went to, these concerts, these people that live here. So like these are dyed in the wool. This would be like having the flying Bobby Orr picture, but then like, a bunch of Maine Mariners, Providence Bruins posters. Like,
I'm surprised there's no Hurricane stuff on the wall.
If you can believe it, in such a great hockey hotbed, if you can believe it, not yet. No Greensboro Gargoyle stuff yet. Not just yet. Before we get into the losing streak some more, Dan, we started a new thing where we're looking at, the number of episodes we have while we're in the double digits. This is episode 12. So I got to ask, your favorite Bruin to wear number 12?
I'm going to mention this guy because I didn't even think he wore number 12, but apparently he did. Simone Gagne, Bruin great.
Legend.
Came in, that was the early 2010s, I believe. So around that time,
Yeah.
that was just a random pull. The easy answer would be Craig Smith.
Easy.
That's too easy though, so we won't do that. And
Playoff
then
overtime winner, man.
yes, and then you have should have been captain Brian Giunta.
Oh,
Devil's great, not Bruins great, but
kind of a a captain at one point, kind of in Boston, because he did captain BC, and Team USA. Did he? That was the same year, right? It was after the Olympics he came to the Bruins. I think that's right.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's around the Stempniak days.
That era. Oh my God.
If you want to call that an era. Yeah.
Here's some great number 12s for the Bruins. Probably the best, Adam Oates. That's pretty good. All of Fame.
Yeah.
Wayne Cashman. Very good. Number 12. Brady Burridge. Brian Ralston.
That's a good one.
Not bad. Stanley Cup champion Tomas Kaberle.
I wish I got that one.
That's pretty good. I'm surprised you didn't get that one.
His name's on the cup.
If there's like one 2011 Bruin who might have to pay for a drink, it's Tomas Kaberle. Not because he was an a-hole or anything, but just because people forget that he was on the team. Like I think Jamie Arneal doesn't have to pay for a drink, or Shane Knighty.
No, Thomas Kaberle has to pay for a drink, and he has to pay the cover at the door too.
There's some other great names on here though. Dick Clapper, who is obviously not known for wearing number 12, apparently did it at one point for the Bruins. Giunta, we got, that was one I had to circle. Craig Smith. How about Spunk Sparrow? All the memories are flooding back right now, I imagine.
Yeah, Spunk was a great guy, on and off the ice.
That might be the best name in Bruins history. Let me repeat this, Dan. Motherfucker's name was Spunk Sparrow. It's literally Jizzbird. That's his name. If you were in England, they think your name was Jizzbird, Cumbird, whatever. Spunk Sparrow is this dude's name. I don't know. Late dude, maybe? I don't know. That's a long. I imagine no one's had the name Spunk Sparrow the last 100 years or so. Chuck Kobasu?
Is he related to Captain Jack?
I'd have to imagine. Alternate captain, Spunk Sparrow. My pick though is someone I didn't know about until we were about to record this show, because the Bruins, this is what I'm following off of. The Bruins during their centennial season just did the number by number, all the guys who have worn it. And at the bottom here, the holiday season is about family, Dan. And what I didn't know is my dad played for the Bruins. Billy Stewart, number 12. He hasn't gone by Billy in a long time, but it is spelled the same way that we spell it, which is very rare. And I'm just thankful that there's another Stewart in Boston sports lore Boston lore that spells it that way. That's not Charles Stewart, because that's a horrible thing to have attached to you. So my pick is going for Billy Stewart. What a player.
Get the jersey.
Billy, yeah, dude. I did have a Mark Stewart one in the past. In fact, the most ungrateful I think I ever was for a Christmas present was a Mark Stewart jersey. But there's a good reason. So it was 2010 or 2009 Christmas, because it was right before the Winter Classic. And my mom got me a Mark Stewart Winter Classic jersey. And this is I'm pretty fairly new to the Bruins. It's probably my first Bruins jersey. That was actually mine. And I was like, wow, this is so sick. I'm like, that's so cool. This is going to be a one of one jersey. No one's going to have this. And she goes, but I think I got the wrong size. At this point, I'm like a kid's large, extra large, maybe adult small for some things in 7th grade. She got me a kid small. And when I talk about too small, Dan, small was an understatement. Okay. The sleeves went down to about here. That's a terrible example. Here on my arm. Okay. And it barely covered my baby fat tummy. And she was like, that's all right. It's, normally you're supposed to get stuff that's too big, and then you say you'll grow into it. That's such a line from my childhood. She said, that's too bad. You'll get some time out of it. I got about 2 months out of it. And she goes, then you'll have it for your kids someday. I'm like, that's 20 years from now, 25 years from now. So I don't have the Mark Stewart jersey anymore. Real shame. And I was pissed because I'm like, Mom, you buy clothes all the time. You like, it's pretty clear when you're buying a kid's product and not an adult product. And also, can we get an exchange here? Can I get an exchange? Is that too much to ask for? So I was ungrateful for that.
I still haven't grown into some of the stuff I was bought when I was a kid. I'm still waiting for the growth spurt to grow into
still
some of
working on
these.
it.
Yeah.
That was a big line, especially around Christmas. And you'll grow into it.
And also it'll shrink.
Yes, it'll shrink. This one shrunk for sure. I guess we got to talk about the Bruins of today. They've lost 3 in a row. It was pretty ugly the whole weekend. Actually, you lose to Edmonton, you get McDavided in the third period. It's like, okay, fine, they're playing better hockey. Vancouver's playing better hockey too, but they're still at the bottom of the Western Conference. And the Bruins should have won that game 3 times, and they didn't win it any times. That was embarrassing. And then Sunday night, I mean, thank God the Patriots were on. What an abomination. They hate playing on Sunday nights, this Bruins team, because the last 2 weeks, it's been like 13-3. They just get crushed. The Senators destroy them. Swayman finally doesn't start. He has to end up coming into the game. But Charlie McAvoy scores his first goal this season. No big deal. On his birthday. That's the highlight of the week for the Bruins. I mean, that was a disaster on Sunday.
That was a disaster. The Senators just have our number. It's kind of crazy. And
why do we have to give up like 10 goals to them every once in a while? Not even every once in a while. Like every third game against Ottawa, you have to give up like 6.
Exactly. They've had our numbers, and that was a brutal game to watch. And honestly, this past week has been brutal in general. Obviously, they beat the Mammoth, but that felt like a long time ago. But I think this week has been, a really bad week for Marco Sturm. We're still big fans of Sturm, but he is a rookie head coach at the same time, and I think we have to remember that he's going to have his growing pains just like any head coach would if he's going through his first year. But there's some questionable decisions by him. Obviously, there was the Andrew Peak going fourth in the shootout.
What was that, man? What was that?
He
what
said
move does Peak have? I know he said about the move, right? Like what on earth? What move does Andrew Peak have that you're like, we've got to get him fourth. We've got to get him win our first shot to win it.
That's why I went to the practice today. I wanted to see if Andrew Peak, if I got to see that shot, but apparently they canceled it. They did a video session instead. But putting Peak on for his move that he didn't even do, that's something you would probably tell him beforehand, like, hey, I'm putting you fourth to do that move.
That is the best part of all of this. It's like, I can't think of a great example, but we've definitely seen it in like a movie or a TV show where you just have some fucking dolt, like just some wicked stupid dude. And you're like, hey, can you do this for me? And he's like, sure. All right, can you do it? Like, can you do it now? Like, can you do it? Like, Andrew Peak's shooting fourth, and he's like, you think Marco wants me to do the move? You think maybe Marco? I've never taken a shootout shot in my life. I have 2 goals ever, and I have this great move, and he's like, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it for another time. Like, what an unbelievable thought process.
So yeah, that was that to begin with, and then you leave Pasta on, in a 6-2 game. You leave him on with a minute left, and he's getting punched in the face because I could see Pasta wanting to try to send a message and try to pump up his team after a bad loss for the next game against the Habs, but leaving your best player on who just came back from an injury not too long ago to fight someone, get punched in the face. That's just the whole Senators bench was filled with their star players. Brady Tkachuk was even in the game, and he definitely would have fight. He definitely would have fought Pasta too. But leaving your star player on, and then obviously the big one is just the management he's had with the goaltenders. Beginning of the year, he said he's going to take it at like a 2-game stance. Like that's how he's going to look at it. And he starts Swayman 4 straight, ends up playing in the last game. And he's probably going to end up starting against the Habs too. So
he's going
to be playing 6 straight games. And you saw what happened last year when he played 58 games. His handling of the goalie situation has definitely been a concern so far for me. If he's taking it 2 games at a time, that means he's not looking at it in the long term. And I'm not sure about you, but I'm getting kind of worried of the games played by Swayman. I think when you look
Has
at
to
the
be a
last two
concern.
seasons, maybe 50 would be a good number for him. Try to keep in the middle, but he just doesn't trust his backup goaltender, and it's showing.
And this is where it does. Like, we've pumped Sweeney's tires quite a bit the last couple of episodes, and I think he's earned that. Like, I think overall Donnie's having a decent year here, but that is where it all comes back to, of like, you really didn't have to take on Korpisalo. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's no way you can convince me that you had to take on Korpisalo. Like, they just signed him. Ottawa just signed him to an awful contract the year before. And 1 year in, they're ready to go. They're ready to get rid of him. And you're trading them a Vezina trophy winning goalie. Like, a guy who had one of the best Vezina seasons of this century. The year before you traded him. You know what I mean? Like, you got the first round pick, and that's why you were doing it. That's why you expedited this whole thing. But they pretty much got, and I know Olmark's not having a good year, but they pretty much got fleeced by having to give them Korpisalo, by taking on Korpisalo and his cap hit. It just didn't make sense at the time. It doesn't make sense now. And that is such a bad move that was unnecessary. And little did we know, but we could have had at least a hint of an idea that when you did that, when you said we have to get a backup goalie in this move, you had two potential NHL goalies in Providence, one of whom is like the best goalie on the fucking planet right now, was in Providence. That when you made this trade, like, even at this point, if Sweeney goes, all right, we're just trading Olmark for a first round pick, and it's Dean Letourneau and Kastelik was the other guy. That's a win. That is such a win of a deal right now. Like, it looks bad at the time, but I don't think anyone was sitting there thinking, you know what? All right, I like this deal because you got Korpisalo. Like, no one was thinking that. And and if you didn't do that, if you didn't get Korpisalo, you probably would have had Bussy up here at some point. I don't know if he catches the same lightning in a bottle, right? Like, it's tough to be like, oh, you didn't know that you had the best goalie in the world on your AHL team. That's harsh, but they were playing him a lot in the preseason, him and DiPietro. Like, they did have some thoughts of him being an NHL goalie. And instead you got Korpisalo. And he's just he's tanking everything. He's ruining it all right now. The defense isn't playing very well in front of him, but Korpisalo stinks. And you keep having to play Swayman. And you, like your point, Dan, we saw how that works. We saw what that looks like when you have to play Swayman this often. It's not friggin' good.
It's not good. And I think the reason why they would never have to take on salary when you give someone a Vezina goalie. So that makes me believe that Sweeney thought that, like, goalie coach Bob can fix him. So he took him because he wanted to make another good duo that he used to have with Olmark. So he thought in his mind, I think, that he could make Korpisalo good again with the new system and the new goalie coach. And in the end, he just took on $3 million for the highest paid backup goaltender, who has 3 straight 800. He has an 800 save percentage for the 3rd straight year. And we had Bussy, we still have DiPietro, and the way Bussy's going this year, it just makes it 10 times worse. That what we're watching from Korpisalo, what we're seeing with Bussy in Carolina, it makes it 10 times worse. And I always think, like, what if we had Bussy this year? What if we had a good backup goaltender that can do what Bussy's doing right now? And we actually did have one over a decade ago. You want to hear a name?
I want a name. Oh,
Chad Johnson, not the football player, not
wow.
Ocho Cinco. Chad Johnson, the one who didn't change his name, but I think he wore number 30, so his name would be Chad Tresero if he changed his name, like Chad Ochocinco. But
it's kind of funny that, like, 2 years later he was wearing Tim Thomas's number. Like, that is kind of funny. Like, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's not like you were gonna retire it, but that is pretty funny. Sorry, go ahead. Chad Johnson, what a year.
Chad Johnson in 2013, 2014, 27 games played, 27 games played, 23 started, 17 wins, 4 losses, 210.925. And they won the President's Trophy that year. And so look at that balance. He started 23, so I get, Rask played 55 games or so. But Chad Johnson was a good backup goaltender, and if he's listening, if he wants to hop on the pod, more than welcome anytime. Or if he wants
Episode
to
30.
if he wants to knock off the rust, we need a backup goaltender currently. So
It's big.
Chad
Yeah,
Johnson.
so like Tuukka plays 55 that year, and wins the Vezina, but like there was never a real concern about Tuukka's usage the way there is with Swayman. Like they split time, he and Thomas, pretty evenly in 2010 and a little bit less evenly in 2011, but like there was not a concern about that. And the whole like goalie Bob thing, because I do think they thought that what you were saying, well, like we could fix him, like. Because you have such a good goaltending coach, wouldn't you believe in your next guys, your DiPietros and your Bussies of like, okay, he can fix Korpisalo, but what is the best version of Korpisalo? Not very good still. But like the best version of Bussy or DiPietro, we don't know what that is. Why don't we roll with goalie Bob with him? That's what I'm not. Like that's where there's no real excuse. You know what it reminds me of? The Chicago Blackhawks made a trade in 1992. They had Ed Belfour as their starting goalie. So they traded their backup, and they traded him for a couple of guys, one of whom was Stefan Beauregard, who they were like, the same thing. Like, okay, now we have our new backup by bringing in Stefan Beauregard. Do you want to know who that goalie was that they traded?
Who?
Dominic fucking Hasek. They traded Dominic Hasek, and they were like, we got to have a backup goalie in return. And so you trade him for Stefan Beauregard to Buffalo. So I don't think Olmark's becoming another Hasek or anything. But
no,
he did
but
play
the Bruins, I think Bruins fans are very, very fortunate. We've had really good backup goaltenders the past 15 years. And when I looked up Chad Johnson, I just want to look up Chad Johnson's stats, the hockey player. It brought me to an article that 3 Bruins backup goalies from the 2010s that you probably forgot about. Chad Johnson was one of them.
You didn't.
The other 2, Nicholas Svedberg.
Absolutely.
And Joonas Gustafsson. Those are the 2 other ones.
I did kind of forget about Joonas Gustafsson. I'm not going to lie.
So he came in after Svedberg went to the KHL. He was 2015, I believe. Both did, Gustafsson did pretty good for the Bruins, but then you bring in Halak, Khudobin.
Yeah, I remember in 2012.
Us to the goalie hugs around then.
I remember in 2012, Tuukka got hurt, and they had to bring in Marty Turco on his last legs. Marty Turco played a couple of games. Was Svedberg 13? Was he the backup when they went to the final?
He was 13. He played 2 seasons. I'm not sure if he was a full-time backup for both of them, but he was 2 seasons on the Bruins, and then he went to the KHL.
I think Khudobin also would have been. I think Khudobin might have been the backup in 13, and he had 2 different stints.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
yeah.
And then
and he brought the stars. The stars.
Anyway, yeah, Korpisalo bad, and guess what? You can't trade him. Okay, Edmonton though, looking for a goalie. Bad news for them. Joonas Korpisalo is not from Edmonton, so I don't know if they're allowed to get him. But I think you're gonna have to release this guy at some point and put him on waivers and take the hit.
He's good for the tank though.
Yeah, that's the thing is, as much as I do want to get Korpisalo off this team and fire him into the sun, don't trade for a backup goalie. Like, let's not do that right now. Like, I love this team. We love the vibes, but there's no need for that. Absolutely no need to go out and trade assets for a backup goalie right now. See what DiPietro's got. I know they didn't like him in preseason, but like, I'd rather just have that than have to do this Korpisalo thing. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. Let us know in the comments on YouTube or tweet at us at Guard Level Pod. And find us wherever you get your podcast as well. Dan, it's guest time. Okay. Our poor next guest, man. He's been waiting for so long to get on the show here. And we're very thankful that he's coming on so close to the Christmas holiday. But we're keeping our black and gold hockey going. After we had Jack Studley a couple weeks ago, now we have Eamonn McLean from Black and Gold Hockey. Eamonn, man, how you doing?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.
Thanks for joining. Happy holidays.
Anytime.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Do you have another favorite number 12 for the Bruins?
Yeah,
there was a big one that we didn't mention, actually.
I think I'd have to go with probably Jerome McGinley. I mean,
that's the one.
Just
exactly.
I mean, yeah, I was so like confused. Like when they acquired him, I mean, I was born in 2001, so I was 12 at the time, so I didn't really understand how like this stuff works. So I know like the year before they were close to getting up, but then he ended up in Pittsburgh. It was like a whole saga that they swept the Penguins conference finals, and there was just all
Again,
that.
had the last shot. Yeah.
And then obviously they traded Sagan, and I was like so confused. I was just like, what? Like, why would we get rid of like Tyler Sagan? Like, he's so good. And then my dad's like, oh, they signed like Jerome McGinley though. I was like, oh, all right, like sweet, like this is great, like this rules. And then he was here for a year, and then I mean, obviously it's a great season, but just kind of a fluke loss to the Habs that year. Then kind of just spiraled the next 2 seasons. But
Brother,
I mean, I've always liked Jerome McGinley. I thought he's just an awesome player.
Brother, if you were 35 years old, you would have been confused as to why they traded Tyler Sagan.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like when I found out they got Louis Eriksson, I know it sounds ridiculous now, but I was like, he's good. Like, I mean, like I was also 12, so I didn't really understand like all this stuff. I'm like, Louis Eriksson could be good. Like, this could be like not that bad.
You're tickling Dan Conlon in all the right spots right now.
But then, it ended up not being great. Like, obviously, like the whole then there's the Eriksson trade deadline saga. Like, are they going to trade him? Are they going to extend him? Then they just did neither, and missed the playoffs, which was so cool. But
That's sick.
I think Riley Smith was the jewel from that trade.
Oh yeah,
yes.
I forgot he was part of that. Then Joe Morrow was part of
the All-Star they got from it.
Joe Morrow, Fraser's OT goal in Montreal.
Yeah,
made it all worth it.
It's a good shout. I forgot about him.
Yeah, Jerome McGinley though, 30 goals that year.
Yeah, like I mean,
some credit.
I mean,
goals.
Just great career. Like I mean, I wish he was a Bruin for longer, but.
Yeah, and we had Ginla and Yager back-to-back years too.
Yes, so they pivoted to Yager when they didn't get a Ginla.
Yager was too old. We had to bring in someone like 37.
I probably would have rather had a Ginla still. I love Yager. But he didn't score a goal in the playoffs. It wasn't. Anyway,
he scored 1 goal as a Bruin, right?
I think that's right. I think it was 1 goal.
Yeah.
And he was on the ice.
I think it was a deflection
for Bergeron's goal to tie it up against Montreal. I remember that he had the assist on there, right?
Yeah. Then they do you guys remember like the old like Hockey Night in Canada Stanley Cup final intros they'd record where they'd like have all the players be like, "Hi, like I'm so and so. My favorite player is like this," and they would like name someone who played like 30 years ago because it's like who they liked as a kid. And David Krejci's like, "Hi, I'm David Krejci. My favorite player is Jaromir Jagr." Then Jaromir Jagr's on next. He's like, "Yeah, my favorite player." I forget who he said.
You want to know who he said? You want to know who he said?
Yeah.
We got to pull up the tape for those at home. So you're right. It goes, David Krejci says, "My favorite player is Jaromir Jagr." Jaromir Jagr goes, "I'm Jaromir Jagr. My favorite player is Jaromir Jagr."
Yeah, I thought he might have said that, but I didn't want to say it and then like sound wrong.
No, you're right. You're an absolute legend, man.
That was a funny video.
Yeah.
But speaking of Iginla, it's a good transition.
That's great. That's a pro right there. I'm gonna interrupt it, but that's a hell of a pro that Dan Conlon's about to pull off.
Speaking of Iginla, there's another Iginla playing this week, and it's not the one you're thinking of. It's a younger version. We got some World Juniors coming up, which is a very exciting time. One of my favorite times of the year. You could see the Bruins haven't had too many prospects recently playing in these just because we don't like prospects, but now we have some prospects again, and they played yesterday too. But we brought you on. We want to learn a little more about World Juniors and what your thoughts are this year. There's a lot of hype going into it. Team Canada seems stacked, but they just lost to Sweden, which was kind of interesting. And you have USA going for a 3-peat. What's your thoughts just coming into this? Are there any players you're excited to watch?
Yeah, like I mean, obviously my mind first goes to the Bruins prospects, just as a Bruins fan. I mean, last year they didn't have any like known prospects. Obviously Hagens was playing, but nobody really thought he was going to end up as a Bruin, I think, at the time. But I mean, obviously my mind goes to Hagens first. I mean, he's probably the highest caliber prospect the Bruins have had since, I guess, Pasternak. But I mean, even then, Pasternak was like a 25th overall pick. I don't think people really thought he was going to become what he's become. So yeah, I mean, Hagens is where my mind goes right away. I mean, he should be the guy for Team USA. I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but like an hour ago, he actually announced on Instagram he's doing a charity drive for Feeding America. For each win Team USA has at the World Juniors, he's going to be donating money to help feed feed those in need. So, I mean, obviously it's pretty cool. If you need another reason to root for him, there you go.
Think of all those stupid teams that passed on James Higgins, this great American, this great philanthropist, this patriot. I was just like, I mean, imagine picking Porter Martone or Brady Martin over this guy. Unbelievable. Letting him slip because he was only a point a game as a 17-year-old in Hockey East. God, he's going to be feeding us for years, man.
Yeah, exactly. Someone he could be feeding at the tournament, actually, Will Zellers. He had a monster game last night against Germany. I mean, it was kind of a weird lineup for the U.S. because, I mean, they scratched Cole Yzerman, Newburyport kid, first-round pick of the Islanders, who's a lock to make the team. He was on it last year. Also scratched a few other guys. I think AJ Spalacy, was on the team last year, Blackhawks prospect. Trying to think. There's one more I think they held out in terms of forwards. Cole Hudson didn't play either. He'll definitely be on the team. So yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see. Like, it looks like they're more in trying to figure out. I think they still have 16 forwards in camp, and you got to get down to 14. So they got to cut 2 guys. But I mean, if Zellers was on the bubble, he took a huge step towards being on the real team last night. I mean, 3 points, 2 goals. USA as a whole, they look kind of slow to start the game. I mean, I watched the first 2.5 periods before the Bruins came on, and they didn't really have much the first 18 minutes, and then Higgins fed Will Horkoff, who scored, and after that they just scored I think 6 goals in 10 in-game minutes. I mean, they scored right as the first intermission was starting, but I mean, yeah, they should still be a pretty good group. I don't think they'll be as strong as last year with Leonard and Perreault gone, but I mean, I still think they have a decent shot at winning gold, especially since the tournament's on home ice in Minnesota this year.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, Higgins is the dude. Higgins is the guy they're watching, and is basically the same way last year. Hudson led the tournament in points, but Higgins was the guy everyone was looking at because he was still kind of seen as the number one dude at that point. Now everyone knows Higgins, and the other name that you dropped in there, Bruins prospect, is one that people are starting to learn, and that is Will Zellers. And I mean, amazing kind of 9 months here for Bruins fans following Will Zellers, because when they acquire him in the Middlestat deal, the Charlie Coyle deal, you're just okay, kind of a long shot, USHL, he's a couple years away from being a couple years away. Cy Young guy, scores a lot of goals, not really driving play, but he's been awesome for North Dakota this year. As a freshman, has stepped in on a very talented team that's got Keaton Verhoff there. He has really stepped into it nicely and is one of the last guys added to the camp for the World Juniors, and he's earning his spot through these kind of exhibitions here. So, Eamonn, do you think this is Will Zellers' breakout party that we're about to see over the next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a decent chance. I mean, assuming he's on the team, I think there's probably a pretty good shot of that. I think the final team will probably be named. They play their final pre-tournament game tomorrow night against Finland. I imagine that'll probably be pretty close to a dress rehearsal of the real thing. Yeah, I mean, when they did trade for Zellers, I was a little bit skeptical at first, just because, most guys that, their draft year after, if they're good, they're in college. They're not in the USHL. I mean, obviously he had just comical numbers in USHL. He dominated, which is what you want to see. But I was, kind of skeptical. I thought, maybe it's not the best competition level. Got to see what he's like against real competition. Then the World Junior Summer Showcase came around, and, I wasn't super impressed with him. He just looked like he was a little step behind. The competition level was a bit higher than what he was used to. I was kind of I don't know how I'll do it at NCAA this year. I think he got off the kind of a slow start too at North Dakota. I think he did score for his first 3 or 4 games. And then after he got one, he's a goal scorer. You get one, you're going to get 5 or 6. It's just the way it works. I mean, Geeky is a great example of this, right? He'll go 2-3 games without a goal, and you're he's slowing down. And then he gets one to go in off his ass, and all of a sudden every shot's going in. It's just the way it works. It's kind of weird, how this stuff happens. But yeah, I mean, he looked great. I mean, Germany's obviously, not going to be relegated probably, but, not medal contenders. But, I mean, you still play who's in front of you. I mean, he looked like as good as anyone else out there. There are a bunch of, first-round picks and pretty high-end prospects out there for Team USA last night.
By the way, when Morgan
Germany.
Geekie goes like 3 games without scoring a goal, I'm losing a lot of money. I'm hammering any time on Morgan Geekie, like every single game. It's just automatic. Thankfully didn't this weekend because I was driving, so nothing on Sunday. But sorry, Dan, go ahead.
So Team Germany, they lost 8-0. Do you think they would be interested in Korpisalo?
I don't know. I mean, could he get through the whole? Well, in those pre-tournament games, they like to split. They like to pull the goalie halfway through. So I mean, maybe he'd fit right in.
Maybe Sturm can pull his German connections for us. Maybe kind of sell him.
Yeah, just get a fake German birth certificate. Say it's like 2006 or whatever.
Call the embassy.
That
Yeah,
could work. Yeah, like
that honestly might be our best
or something. Yeah.
If teams aren't interested in him, which they definitely aren't right now, I think Team Germany might be our best option. But there's actually there's 2 players I actually am kind of interested to see. One on Team USA, Chase Reed. He's projected, I think, to be the first American taken in the next upcoming draft, and he checks off a lot of boxes that the Bruins like, which is 1, he's American. 2, he's a right-handed defenseman, which is something we desperately need right now. And he's currently our good friends at NHL Tankathon. He's currently projected around 6th overall, which is a great spot for Bruins because I don't think we're going to be in the top 5. And we don't want the Toronto Maple Leafs in the top 5 because their pick is top 5.
One of our top 10 picks.
So I think right around that's the 6th overall. That's where we'd want to target if we're in the top 10. And we might have 2 shots at it with our own pick and the Toronto pick. So seeing how Chase Reed plays, that's one guy I'm curious to see just because, maybe he's a Bruin in later on next year. But Chase Reed and then this other guy, Gavin McKenna. Not sure if you heard of him. But he's getting some criticism just for the way he's been playing at Penn State. He's having a good season, but his numbers aren't like what they used to be like last year. And he's obviously playing better competition. I'm not sure if the criticism is granted, but
it's overblown, by the way. Overblown before you get into it. So overblown with McKenna because like I'm watching these pre-tournament games in the World Juniors, and McKenna scored a goal the other day. He scored it on his own net, but like, come on, dude. The production is there. So I just want to, I am so sick of the Gavin McKenna slander. Sorry, Dan.
He puts the puck in the net, whether it's
puts the puck in the net,
whether it's the opposing team's net or his own net. That's what he does.
Creates goals. What else do you want from the kid?
But there are some murmurs, and some people saying he's not playing as good as he should be. Do you think there's any shot he doesn't go first overall next year?
Yeah, I do. I mean, if you read the draft rankings of, some of the more people that are more tapped in than I am to, like NHL scouts, stuff like that, it just seems like, at least right now, and I mean, I want to preface this by saying we are so far away from the draft. Like we are probably 6.5 months. I mean, so much can happen, right?
Like with Hagens last year.
Yeah, exactly.
This time Hagens was 1. Yeah.
Yeah, this time Hagens was consensus number 1. But I want to preface this also by saying this is really weird in the sense that there isn't a consensus first overall player. You know what I mean? If you read the rankings, some people still have McKenna 1. People have Keaton Verhoff 1, who's playing for Canada, if our listeners weren't aware. Some people have Tynan Lawrence number 1, who's playing the USHL right now. He won't be at the World
BU Terrier.
Committed to BU, at least for the time being. Obviously if he goes first overall, that might change.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's not much agreement. I mean, if you look at these rankings, outside of McKenna, Verhoff, even Tynan Lawrence, I saw him ranked number 1 on one ranking, and then I saw him at 7 on another. It's that's a huge gap. I mean, I know it's 6 spots, but the top 5, you're talking from a potential high lottery pick to, someone who's in the bottom half of the top 10. That's a big difference, right? So, I mean, and the World Juniors will, help narrow some of this down, right? Like guys will rise, guys will fall. I mean, in terms of the two guys you mentioned, Dan, McKenna and Reed. I mean, yeah, I think McKenna might just be a victim of, like people have been watching him for so long, they expect perfection. I mean, this is kind of a few years ago, but if you guys remember, Shane Wright was the projected first overall pick for, like 2 or 3 years. Like, this will be the Shane Wright draft. This will be the Shane Wright draft. And then it went down to like the final night between him and Slavkovsky. Slavkovsky went first overall. All of a sudden, New Jersey wants a defenseman that takes Simone Nemec. Arizona or Utah takes Logan Cooley, and all of a sudden Shane Wright's a member of the Seattle Kraken at 4th. So, I mean, these things can change so quickly. So many people view these things differently in different orgs. And I mean, in terms of like whether or not he'll go first overall, it might just come down to who wins the draft lottery. Now they view him, right? Like, yeah. I mean, the Bruins might think McKenna's the best player in the draft. They also might think Verhoff's the best player in the draft. Like, we just have no idea at this point, right? So, I mean, like St. Louis, they might just be like, yeah, like Gavin McKenna's our guy. So, it's going to be hard to tell. I'm interested to see Chase Reed, though. I mean, he has potential to have a pretty big role for Team USA. I mean, outside of Hudson, it doesn't really feel like there's a ton of, stars on the U.S. blue line. I mean, I feel like there is a role for him if he does play well. So, I mean, it'll definitely be something to watch.
Verhoff's a friggin' monster, by the way.
Oh,
like if I'm at the Bruins and I have the number 1 pick, I think I'm picking Verhoff. Like, and I'm not off the train like a lot of people are with McKenna, because obviously, as much as we all defended Hagens last year, like it's kind of the same thing. Like, you come in to Hockey East as a 17-year-old. Like, man, that's not an easy thing to do. Obviously, he's at Penn State, not Hockey East, but you know what I mean. Like, that's a big jump to go from Canadian major juniors to college hockey in 2025. That's a huge jump. But talking about just in general, you got to stick with me here a little bit, Eamonn. You got to stick with me, because one of the things we don't have much in sports anymore is like the legend before he's even seen. You know what I mean? Like Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. Like, he's this mythical beast because no one's seen him. You know what I mean? And it used to be the same way with Bobby Orr and Jim Thorpe and whomever, right? Like, back in the day, you didn't get to see these guys until you saw them live, and they have all this reputation that precedes them. We don't have that anymore, except for one Bruins prospect. And we're going to finally get to really see him here. He's drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. They didn't have the right name on him, so he didn't have a hockey reference or a hockey database page. Like, no one even knew this kid was just invented out of thin air. Like, it was almost like a joke. Like when the Sabres drafted that guy from Japan, that wasn't even real. And it's Vasek Blanar. Okay. And then he goes to Bruins dev camp and everyone's raving about him. And like, we can't really tell who's doing great at dev camp. But we're finally going to get to see Vasek Blanar going up against some awesome competition in the World Juniors. What is your excitement level for this kid? And what have you heard about Vasek Blanar?
Yeah, so it's actually funny you mentioned this. It just kind of brought me back to when he was drafted. We were doing a live stream over at Black and Gold, and I had the Elite Prospects like draft guide, which is over 1,000 prospects and like in-depth profiles on all of them. And I was just like, this is perfect. Like, just call me, like whoever it is. I'll tell you who it is. Like, I'll tell you all about them. I'll read their profile. My co-host Sam was like, yeah, like sounds good. So he's like, Vasek Blanar. And I just like, okay, like look through it. I'm like, wait a second. I look at it, like type it in. I'm like, dude, like he doesn't even have an Elite Prospects profile. Like, where did they draft this guy from? But yeah, obviously it just turned out that, I guess like maybe he like changed his name somewhere along the line, like from like Blanar to Richards, or obviously Richards to Blanar. But yeah, I mean, like I'd say my excitement level probably at like a 7 out of 10, like for him. Like, I'm excited to see how he does at this tournament. I mean, this is supposed to be a pretty deep Czech group for this tournament. Like, I mean, they are legit medal contenders. I mean, they've medaled a lot recently, but there's legit hype around them as, potentially challenging for gold this year. I mean, last time I checked, Czechia did still have to cut a defenseman. So obviously it's still not a lock that he's actually going to be playing in the tournament. But I mean, yeah, it's a great sign that he's already, getting consideration because he wasn't on their U18 roster for the U18 Worlds in his draft year. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it would be his first time, repping Czechia at one of these legit IHF tournaments if he is on the final roster.
So all the other stuff, like we haven't seen him, but everything is pointing to this kid stock's rising. Like you said, he didn't make the U18. Now he's going to the World Juniors. He's playing in Hockey East next year. Like it does seem like stock is going up on Vasek Blanar. I'm in. I'm glad that we're going to find out for sure that he's a real person in this tournament. Dan, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I actually saw him in Dev Camp, so he is an actual person.
Dev
but
Camp,
seen him against Dev Camp. But one of his comparables was?
It was Lowry, wasn't it?
6'4", 183, Mason Lowry. And
I could use another Mason Lowry, baby.
Do we need 2 Lowrys? Because I know some Bruins fans don't even want 1. So it's going to be, I think that's a touchy subject. But I did see one of his comparables was Mason Lowry. And I'm not sure how Bruins fans feel about that. I think Lowry, he's recently has been playing great, but after he got benched, he came back and played strong. So his plus minus isn't what it was like last year, though. If we're looking at that, he's not
winning the Masters.
He's not on pace for minus 40 this year, but he's an interesting prospect playing for the Czech. Do you think a team like the Czech could pull off some upsets, or if you had to predict right now based on the pre-tournament play, who would you put your money on? Or maybe I won't say put your money on. I want anyone to gamble on who you pick and blame you for it. Who would you pick to win it all this year?
I'd go Canada. I just think, they're kind of due. They've had a bunch of, down tournaments. Obviously last year they lost to Latvia, just in humiliating fashion on home ice. Obviously it did eliminate them, but there's a lot of, I think, pent up frustration, I think, in Hockey Canada. I think this year, I mean, if you look at their forward core and their D core, their depth is just ridiculous. Like, I mean, Cam, you mentioned Verhoff earlier. He's not even in their projected lineup to start the tournament, which is insane.
They cut O'Brien.
Yeah, they cut Jake O'Brien, who's having a monster year. They cut Marek Vanacker, who's the leading goal scorer in the OHL. They didn't even consider Dean Letourneau. That's
crazy. I don't know how you could win this with Dean Letourneau. I don't know how you're going to win anything.
Which is just insane. I mean, they have so much talent. I mean, yeah, I think in short tournaments, I take talent over. I just think I think you got to bet on talent in tournaments like this. In terms of like predictions. I take Canada, but I mean, I could see any of Canada, the U.S., Sweden, Czechia, maybe not so Finland as much this year. I mean, it seems like this Finnish group, they didn't get Konsta Helenius, who's a Sabres prospect, I think 12th overall 2 years ago, loaned, unfortunately, for them. So, I mean, obviously not the strongest group for them. They do have some interesting draft eligibles. I just don't think they'll be contending for gold. But, I mean, I could see any of those 4 teams challenging for gold, honestly.
Hell yeah.
3P.
I'm in. 3P. People are saying, the streets are saying 3P at home. I can't wait till it goes up to Red Deer in Edmonton. I would really love to attend that one.
Yeah, so this is like my main complaint with this tournament is that Canada just gets to host it every 2 years for some reason. I mean, I get that they're a huge hockey country and stuff, and that they're obviously the biggest in the world. But I mean, how do you want to grow the game if every 4 years, every 2 years, another country gets a chance? It's just, I don't really understand that. I feel like it should almost be the other way around.
Gary Bettman and growing, whether it's height wise or growing the game of the sport, he just does not like to grow. And we could actually
anything, man. He kind of looks the same from 30 years ago, Gary Bettman.
He is a small guy. He is anti-growing in all aspects of life.
Not a fan of it.
But yeah, the NHL and hockey this is a great time for hockey right now. You have guys like Ovechkin breaking records. Crosby just tied Lemieux. Did he break it or he tie it? I'm not sure.
Tied Marriott.
Okay.
Which is insane, by the way. Nuts.
You have these legends still playing, breaking records. You have the McDavids and McKinnons in their primes, and you have the Celebrinis and the Bedards and the Geekies. You have those guys coming up. Like, this is a great time. You had the success of the Four Nations, and then you have the Olympics coming up, and it's like you can't even get ESPN to like mention a name. It's like ESPN would rather show LeBron at his son's high school basketball game than show like a highlight Bedard goal. Like, it's crazy. So I'm hoping, I think once LeBron retires, hockey will go up a little bit just from, less coverage. But yeah, growing the game of hockey is very important this year. And this is a great time to do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you mentioned ESPN. Do you guys remember that one baseball playoff clip where they asked him, like, who do you think's going to win, Chicago or Florida, NHL opening night? He's like, I'm not going to be watching. It's like, oh, that's great. Like, yeah, thanks.
Sick. Dude, there was another one around that time where I was at a hotel for a wedding and I had SportsCenter on because I'm not usually watching it. And they had top 10 plays, and two of them were from hockey games, and both of them they got something wrong in the read. One of them was the two teams that were playing, and one of them was where they were playing. And I'm like, brothers, sisters, it's right there. It's in front of you. Like, that's just not having any grasp of anything in the league, like at all. Like, it's right in front of you. And I have read highlights from a teleprompter. The monitor is in front of you. You can see exactly what's going on. It would be stupid to not have that in front of you. So yeah, they don't give a shit, man. They don't care. They do not care. And they brought like half an IKEA table as their studio desk to the final 2 years ago. Like, they do not give a shit about this sport.
Yeah. I mean,
David Pastrnak is the 11th best player in the league, Eamonn. ESPN put David Pastrnak as the 11th best player in the league.
Top 11.
That's just silly.
2 years in a row.
Yeah, 2 years in a row. Wow.
Yeah, 2 years in a row at number 11. Last year he had 50 more points than the next most on his team, and he didn't move up a spot.
That's
crazy.
It's really unbelievable.
Didn't go down either, though. He didn't go down.
He did not go down. He is solidifying that spot. That's why we talked about it last episode. It was episode 11. So we were just like, David Pastrnak show. Absolute David Pastrnak show. Anyway, Eamonn, man, I really appreciate you coming on. So does Dan. I didn't mean that to sound like it was just me appreciating it. We really appreciate you coming on. This is an exciting time of year for hockey. Like, I love that the days in between Christmas and the bowl games that people actually really watch, we do get the World Juniors, and the USA is really good at it. So thankful for the preview that you're able to give us, and thankful for all your work, man. You're one of the dudes who keep us really updated on these Bruins prospects.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited for this tournament as a whole, man. I think it's a wide open World Juniors, which, a lot of times it really just feels like it's between two countries this year. I feel like, there's 3 or 4 countries, and I mean, anything can happen really in these single elimination tournaments. I still remember that one year Slovakia went all the way to the bronze. The year McDavid was in it. It was last year. They upset, I want to say they upset Sweden in the bronze medal game. Just anything can happen in these. International hockey is great for the sport. The World Juniors, I think, is just a nice appetizer for what we have coming with the Olympics, hopefully. If the construction team in Milan can figure out how to use nails and hammer correctly. So,
coming into the season, I was with the Red Sox, not the Red Sox. Honestly, the Red Sox season was in limbo too, but with the Bruins season limbo, I think the Olympics was honestly the only thing I was looking forward to. So that's going to be fun too. But for anyone listening, where can they find your work?
Yeah, over on Twitter, X, at Eamonn McLean 44. I'll spell it since I don't know I can ever spell my name correctly. EAMONNMCLEAN 44. And then also just at blackandgoldhockey.com, Black and Gold Productions. You can check me out and a bunch of our other writers, a lot of talented people over there.
Hell yeah. Looking forward to it, man. Appreciate you coming on, and a Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, boys.
Oh, he's one of the best. When we come back, we're going to talk about some Christmas stuff, the Bruins Christmas wish list, maybe some of the great Christmas movies. That's coming up next on the Garden Level Pod after this quick sound. So, Dan, it's almost a big day. Big day. Biggest day. To some people, the late Ricky Henderson's birthday. I think also maybe his death day. That's crazy. December 25th. It's known as Christmas now. And you wish for things. And sometimes you get them. But only, Dan, only if you've been a good boy all year long. I think you've been a good boy. You've done a great job on this show. What is at the top? Let's do what's at the top of your Bruins wish list. And then maybe your own wish list, if that's cool.
Okay. I wrote down a list a few weeks ago. Mom made me write down a list twice. And my list consisted of a top 10 pick. I didn't want to get greedy and say 2 top 10 picks. All right. If you want to be more specific, I said 1 top 10 pick and 1 top 15 pick. So 2 picks in the top 15. That's what I want. A backup goaltender would be nice. Really want one of those. But at the same time, I guess it goes against the top 10 pick. If we have a good backup goaltender, we might be picking 18th. We might get another.
To trade a backup goalie that costs you a first round pick. Remember?
Yeah,
that's what's
exactly. So around the teens, like 15 to 20, I just get these Zach Ascension flashbacks. So I just want to try to get to 7, get like another Hagens. But a top 10 pick, a backup goaltender would be cool. And what else? Is there anything you want? I'm not. I want to take up all the time on my own stuff.
Dude. For the Bruins anyway. You know what I really am desperate for is to bring something back. You know, like Home Alone. Kevin wants
something
his
that we had.
Back. Yeah, I really desperately want the yellow seats back. And people want the checkered like it was for a long time, but I'm even willing to go a step further. I'm willing to go like OG Fleet Center days, all yellow. Screw it.
Should we bring back the Fleet Center? And do we change the name of this podcast?
The Fleet? The Fleet Pod? The Fleet of Foot Pod? I don't even know what we do with that. Fleet level. I just like I don't hate the Garden, but like it's so boring now. It like you look at a picture of it and there's like it just looks like every other basic ass arena there is. Oh, wow. 17,500 black seats. That's awesome, dude. Like great.
Did the Celtics make them change it, or was that just a Charlie Jacobs?
No, I think it's a Jacobs thing because it was always because the Jacobs owned the building. So the Celtics didn't really have much of a say at all. And now I swear it makes the product look worse on TV. Because it's like darker. And I mean, Nesson has all its own issues with that friggin' app. But the Bruins games look so dark now. It sucks. And it's just like I feel so old man, Dan, but it's like none of the aesthetics are left. No yellow seats, no Jack Edwards, no long score bug going across the top of the screen. You remember that? And when they would score, it'd be like, like I miss that. I miss
no Stanley Cup playoffs on the ice anymore.
That sucks.
Even though we're not in the playoffs, right?
That sucks too. So that's at my wish list. I did get something, by the way, Bruins related already for Christmas.
Another jersey.
Yeah, it's
Andrew Peak.
It's another Andrew Peak jersey. I had to get one with the Captain C on it.
USA jersey, Andrew Peak.
I wear it when I'm doing the shootouts in the basement. Just emulate my favorite player. There's gonna be kids on frozen ponds around the greater Boston area just flying around with that number 26 captain jersey. It is the jersey of a guy who did score a lot of goals, to be fair. So Mitchell and Ness started doing hockey jerseys again a couple years ago. And they had the blue line ones, which sucked. They just were bad material. And then they came out with the power play ones. Here's a little lesson for you, Dan. And these ones are great. And they had a jersey design that you don't often see with the Bruins. And it's this one from the late 50s, early 60s. The mic is going to be weird. But See it there with a lot of black down the sleeves, the gold on the top with the white collar. I really like that. And what it is, Dan, is it's a Willie O'Ree jersey, but it's number 18, which is what he actually wore the night he broke the color barrier in the NHL. So see, they got it down there, Willie O'Ree.
Yeah.
But he's obviously known as number 22 with the Bruins. He has a number 22 retired. So I think this is a pretty cool, like, homage that it's the number 18 one, not a Happy Gilmore jersey. But it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I'm going to be wearing it during the Bruins Habs game because, of course, Willie O'Ree made his debut against Montreal, and I think it was the other team that he played for. So
I actually went to the game. They retired his other jersey. I was at that game.
Yeah. You going to go to the Chara one?
I mean, it's in January, so I got nothing better to do. So I probably should go to that one.
Nothing better to do. Sure.
But yeah, honestly,
bobblehead's so cool.
Yeah, honestly, I think with the yellow seats, maybe they come back if the Celtics and their new owner wants his own stadium.
Why not? Why not?
If the Celtics leave, which I don't think is going to happen, but just something to think about.
I need a new Rev Stadium. That's what I really need. Need that one in Everett by Encore.
Did that start yet? Did they build that yet or no?
No. I think there's just like drawing it up. I don't even know if they voted on it.
Are you going to go to any of the World Cup games at Gillette?
If I take out a second mortgage, man. I looked them up, like Mbappe versus Haaland. I'm like, that's so sick. Imagine being able to go to that. It's like, yeah, sure. If you got $1,200, you can get in the door. Like it's nuts. I think they did bring down
standing
some
room
prices.
$1,200.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I teased one thing, and I didn't even ask you about it beforehand. So we're just like, we're hitting it raw and dry here. Is there any Christmas movie that you just find terribly overrated?
Love the transition.
Thanks.
I will say that it's overrated. I'll get to that. Favorite movies.
Okay.
Gotta put Elf in there. Just love the comical aspect of it. That was a young Will Ferrell, like one of his first 5 movies that
fresh off of SNL. Yeah.
Fresh off SNL. It's a good comedy. Some people watch it all year round, which I think is crazy, but It's a Wonderful Life. Watch it every Christmas Eve.
Perfect.
Great movie. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. Definitely different than most of the other
if
ones.
You haven't seen it. What are you doing, man? Although I watched it with Grace last week, and she hadn't seen it since she was a kid, so like she didn't even know what happened at the end. I was like, really? Really? I love It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a great movie. Just watch it once a year.
Film. Yeah.
And you know why it's a perfect film? Because you watch it once a year, basically. Some people may only watch it once every decade, but I do watch it once a year, which makes it great.
We're gonna do a watch along, like Memorial Day weekend this year. just remembering that it is a wonderful life.
But one reason why it's good is because you watch it once a year, if that. Maybe some people do every other. If you watch a movie, if a movie gets overplayed, then I think it gets overrated.
Uh-oh.
And a movie that gets overplayed is A Christmas Story.
Hell yeah.
I think it's on for 24 hours straight on Christmas. You obviously see on TV, every week before Christmas, but it came out in the 80s. I didn't watch it growing up. I have no sentimental attachment to it. I think it's just one thing that gets overplayed a lot, and I could give or take it. I'm not a fan.
It should be, because you're exactly right. Like, that's my pick. It has to be. But like, it should be more of a classic, but it's just played so damn much, man. Like, there's good characters in it and everything. There's good lines, but yeah, it's just played way too much. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but the mom in A Christmas Story?
I don't know her name, but I know.
You're familiar.
I'm familiar with what she looks like. What she looked like in 1980.
Yeah. Speaking of how she looks, do you know what her breasts look like?
No.
But see, I think you might. If you've ever seen one of the greatest, if not the greatest comedy movie ever made, which is Slapshot, you have seen the mom topless. She is the one that Paul Newman's sleeping with in that scene. And by the way, She did a tremendous job, or God did a tremendous job on her. I just got to say, it's great pair. But it's you become a man when you find out that those are the same people. She's kind of low key a villain in A Christmas Story, but yeah, I will not be watching that. I will not be listening to It's a Wonderful Christmas Time. Won't be doing that. I heard that against my will before December even started. That was awful. It was November 30th. So anyway, Dan, I hope you have a nice Christmas, man.
Yes, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone that's listening. Hope everyone
Merry
has
Christmas, Garden Level Podcast. Merry Christmas, Captain Peak. Merry Christmas, Joonas Korpisalo's $3 million cap hit. This is good.
That was good. And for everyone that doesn't know, that's a reference to It's a Wonderful Life, which you should watch on Christmas Eve.
Yes. Every time a bell rings, Joonas Korpisalo lets in a goal in the first 3 shots. Oh, man. Dude, clearly, we have run our course here. Guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's dropping every week. We got short segments going out. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok. Man, Dan is pumping out content there. We will see you guys next week on a little ditty that we like to call the Garden Level Pod.